after all the years of racing, you raced for a long time, and you see a lot of competitors in the pits today, a lot of young guys, and they're not having. It seems like sometimes they're not having as much fun as you guys did years ago. How did you keep racing fun for so long?
Well, we went to the racetrack, and I don't think we had as much pressure on it because the cars weren't near as expensive as what they are now. The cars now have so much money tied up in them, and it costs so much money to operate them that when you go there, it puts a lot of pressure on the drivers. Whereas when we went, we were taking care of our own cars. We didn't have to usually put up with a lot of the different things that a person that owns their own car and drives for somebody else would have to do that, or a big sponsor. And you got sponsors you got to please. Back then I don't think it was that. The sponsors that put the big money in the cars, they expect to see the car win, and that puts pressure on the whole crew. But back then when we were racing, we went to the track and we enjoyed racing, because if we didn't do particularly good that night, it wasn't no big deal. We didn't have to, say why or have to make excuses to any car owner or sponsor why we didn't do good. Right. So that was why it was more enjoyable.
A lot less stress back then. You raced for a long time to feed your family, so it's always been a little stressful for you, hadn't it?
Yes, but you don't really think about that too much when you're there at the track and go out to race. You're concentrating on what you have to do in the car and the way it's handling and the tires and like that. You can't let that part enter into what you do that night, because you go there to race and race, and whatever happens, and that's the way I look at it anyway.
Were there times in your career where you thought you were going to have to hang it up and come home and do something different?
No, not yet. Not yet. There was a time back in the 70s, we raced, and I could say I win at Syracuse, and I could win the Daniel Boone 200 or at Flemington or Eastern States 200, and you made good money. But then when the price of gasoline went up so much, you remember when everybody had this parking lines to get the gasoline and everything, it just got so expensive to run the cars. And then the invent of the when we quit building our own cars, and the guys would go to the candy store and buy their cars and buy their motors and buy everything, and they quit building their own equipment. And then all of a sudden the big sponsors come in, they'd put new tires on their car, and then it got a lot harder to make a living at it that way. That's when I decided it was best to come home and start a little business and do my racing down here.